UZI 是我一直以来都很欣赏的选手，他现在拿到了冠军，站在了巅峰之上。我的目标很简单，就是打败他。
和我搭档的都是天赋异禀的下路选手，而我有实力保护他们。在瞬息万变的战场上，要做到掌控全局。我的 ADC 你们都不要动。
还是有着不输于RNG的实力，我不希望在重蹈覆辙留下遗憾。这次我们整装待发来到北京，就是为了一雪前耻。
卡莎推到了后排，优在这波要是个3杀，还有一个人头，这波全要收，4杀
5杀近在眼前。
在东部赛区的队伍中 ，RNG 的确是我们最强的对手之一。 但是在我的野区里，毕竟自家地盘，大龙小龙也是会认人的。
对战 RNG 需要我们火力全开去应对，春之虎地对我来说远远不够。
来一较高下吧，看看谁才是东部名副其实的 No.1。
Bullet train from Hangzhou going all the way down here to Shanghai. Now we somehow move over to Beijing, where RNG's new studio is located, their new arena. Where they'll be playing from here today up against Invictus Gaming. The clash of the titans in our match of the week. The one that everyone and their mothers apparently have been waiting for. We've gone to the streets, we've preached to everybody about how damn good this day is going to be. We're only just getting started because we had fantastic League of Legends matches to watch. Now we're going to get the best of the best going up against one another. Both RNG as well as Invictus Gaming arrived at the stadiums earlier today. They are pumped, they are ready. Uzi doesn't know how to wear a backpack, but it doesn't matter because he's a goddamn good AD carry. We're about to watch the best of the best go up against one another. Yes! The Duke starting for Invictus Game, but we saw the Shy in their roster that he could still jump into the match here today. It's going to be a fantastic one to watch. I'm still Matthew Stewart. I'm still here. No one's apparently come to help me, so I don't understand why. I told them.
I came.
I'm being held hostage. Raz, the one that's giving me, he's joining us here on the analyst desk. We still have Clement Chu with us today. Gentlemen, this match is what everyone's been looking forward to. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to it since the semi-final clash last time we saw them.
100%. Just because, remember, it was Invictus Gaming that were left in China brewing, just waiting. Ooh. It was supposed to be their international fame because they broke history in their spring split. But then it went to the actual go time in summer, and it was RNG that took it home.
Yeah, definitely. RNG showcased the world that the LPL is the most competitive region in the entire world so far, but their biggest obstacle has been Invictus Gaming. In terms of the regular split, they've actually split it 1 versus 1 so far. So, you know, this is a grudge match, and the playing field has actually been quite equal overall.
Yeah, it's been fairly equal. I mean, the semi-final match showed that. It was back and forth all the way to 5 games.
Look, you say it's equal, but it's going to be Invictus Gaming that comes into this feeling like, you know what, it was the first day of the spring split that they were actually taken off their horse by RNG. That the one blemish of spring was actually RNG. You go towards the playoffs, and that's what everybody remembers. So IG is coming this real grudge. You mentioned it. It is a real grudge match, and it's mostly IG that's putting all of the faith in this one.
Especially when RNG then went to MSI, took home the MSI championship as well. IG are going to be disappointed. Following that, it was just a downward trajectory, finishing 4th after their 3rd or 4th place finals against Rogue Warriors. They've been back and they're looking for vengeance. So far undefeated in terms of the series they've played so far, looking to try and finish the first round of regular conference undefeated. To take down RNG, it would give them that victory. But whenever we talk about these two teams, there's always 2 players that comes to mind, and that's going to be the carries in the bottom lane. We used to call them the marksmen. They probably still are the marksmen. Neither of them have really changed with the flow, picked up the Vladimirs or the Risers, but it is Uzi and Jackie Love who we look towards.
Yeah, and these 2 players really signify the change in adaptation to the meta. For RNG, they stuck solely to marksmen when they play Uzi, and they play a much later game. They're waiting for Uzi to reach 3 items before they really pop off. On the other hand, you have Jackie Love, who does play a bit more of different champions with the Yasuo, so he's looking at the first item spike. IG like to play scrappy, they like to fight a lot, they want to go all in. Uzi and RNG, they want to wait towards the late game.
And so the result is just that both of these teams, from spring split to summer split, their identity has remained the same. RNG based around Uzi so they can get to these late game team fights, and he can just showcase his talents. And that's what I love to see from RNG's side. And then you mentioned, of course, Invictus Gaming and how they're that one-item team. And it's because their change has been, no, we actually still want to be the early game team. Yep. We still want to have push in every single damn lane, no matter if the Shy is playing or not. And so it's fun to see that both teams are playing. And of course, right in front of your face, you're seeing Uzi just pop off in all his AD carries. And this is what you get. This is the result.
Duke's evolved. He's now playing carries. We saw him pick up a great Darius game at the top side of the map. We never know if the Shy will come back. If he will play today, it'd be great to watch him play, but it's been a long time. Invictus Gaming have been adapting well to the early game. Last split, our biggest criticism about them was they couldn't team fight. They didn't know how to team fight after losing team fights when they grouped up as 5. With this chaotic meta, they don't need a team fight anymore. You know what? We're just going to throw everything we can at them and we're good.
Wow. Okay, you say that, but a lot of these teams are still getting to the 30-minute mark. And a lot of these games are still decided by the Baron fights. And so you may be right. A lot of it comes down to the early game globally, really decides it. But when you have so many bruises on the map, a lot of it does get decided by fights like these.
Yeah, that's the thing about the meta. I really hate the job of the play-by-play at this point because you don't have carries to narrate on. Everything's going on wild, like something in the left could decide the fight, something in the right could decide the fight. You don't have a single point of focus. And that's really true with Invictus Gaming especially. They are running triple carries quite often. Even their Lulu from Rookie does not build supportive items. They're a Luden Banshees Luden's Banshees type of Lulu. So you're looking at a more spread out, decentralized, and scrappy team from Invictus Gaming compared to RNG.
Neither of these two teams really going towards strategies like gold funneling either. They're really sticking to the guns. They know what works, and they say, you know what, it doesn't matter how the meta changes. Whatever works for us previously is going to work for us now. We'll force that. Let's take a look at their lineups because IG will be starting with Duke in the top lane, Ning in the jungle, Rookie, so Jackie Love and Balan.
And the Shy is still in the locker room, so if it doesn't go to plan, then you can actually showcase the Shy's talents. But Duke has been playing quite well since the beginning of the split, so it makes sense that they're starting this series with him on the front.
No, it doesn't make sense. They said on Weibo they're giving me the Shy. They haven't given me the Shy this week.
Well, let's see what's going to start for them in game 2. If they do bring it, but let me cast the Xiaohu Uzi, as well as being rounds out the RNG roster. We still have we still have Tatai as well as MLXG sitting on the bench for them.
And of course, the team in front of you, you heard the audience chant, we're in Beijing, we're in the court of RNG. So the deck is stacked against Invictus Gaming tonight.
This is the MSI squad. They've been playing a lot of games with Abel, with MLXG, but when it comes to important matches, they want to showcase their best roster so far. So I'm really glad this could have been a Duke versus Abel match, but I'm glad that isn't happening.
Yeah, make sure you've got a bag of Doritos, you've got your Warhorse ready, because this is going to be an action-packed best of 3. Now, gentlemen, before we get into this first match, I want to hear from both of you. Who do you think is going to win and why? Starting with you, Raz. What's going to happen here today?
Okay. I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I'm going to say Invictus Gaming.
Okay.
Immediately. I didn't flip. I didn't even flip. All right. I had IG from the beginning. And a lot of the points surrounding it is because, remember, going into the semifinals, the Shy was supposed to start.
Okay.
Duke came in and play, and obviously they fell to 5-game when Duke had no synergy around them. This time he's actually had time to practice and prep for the teams. You can see it in the games that he's playing. So if they start in with Duke, which they are, then I expect proper play and team fights. If they come in with the Shy in later games, I expect proper solo lanes. I think Invictus Gaming will come out with the victory tonight.
What about you, Clement? Do you think it's going to be IG?
I'm no longer Clement. Please refer to me as PP.
What?
What? I'm Raz.
Oh, damn, you're right. Damn,
PP. But I will go ahead and I say I feel like RNG has the stronger team right now. They're one MSI, and for Invictus Gaming, you can't do Lane Kingdom without the Shy. That was their only winning lane in playoffs. So I have to say, no the Shy, no IG.
Well, you've heard from our 2 analysts here, but we've got one special guest that is going to be able to, predict what the outcome between Invictus Gaming as well as RNG is going to be and settle the score for us here on the desk. We've got a cute little kitty cat named PP. Sinning's kitten helping me predict that matchup there. 3-month-old Kuten. So cute, but it's stacked against you, Clement. I mean, even I think I'm just going to take this one. You're the only RNG fan up here. What's up?
I'm a professionally paid analyst. I do not heed the opinions of team organization pets. He's 3 months old. I'm almost 30.
You don't even know your own name. You thought you were PP.
That's what it said on the screen.
All right.
Oh, Analyst doesn't know his own name. Raz is in trouble. He thinks that Clement doesn't know what he's doing, and there's a cat that thinks IG's going to win. We're going to send it over to our casters, but first we've got a special something from Jackie Love.
Fighting 看底下的中文是都在为你加油，实在不行念 rap 也行。
我嫉妒你的爱气势如虹，像个人气高居不下的天后。你要的不是我，而是一种虚荣。有人疼才显得多么出众。
哇，大家给阿水掌声好不好？已经是勇气可嘉了。
Jackie Love, of course, giving us an incredible singing performance right there, but I have to throw a little bit of shade. They're honestly saying on the analyst desk that the MSI squad, the best team in the world, gentlemen, are going to beat, or excuse me, are going to lose to Invictus Gaming with Duke, the weaker form of IG. Like, where's the logic
They said
here?
They said that first, but let's get into it. Let's get into this matchup, because it's important to actually talk about these two teams, because this is a battle of the juggernauts. These are the titans of the LPL. Now, why are we saying that these are the super teams? We've got to go back and talk about Spring, because the first time we saw these two teams, we were like, heck yeah, this is going to be our opening game of the split, Invictus Gaming versus RNG, and RNG just bodied them.
I mean, reality is, welcome to the best team in the world. We are the most competitive region. If you thought RNG was just a flash in the pan from the LPL, you weren't paying attention, because Invictus Gaming were a record-breaking team. These guys were sprinting towards that MSI championship. Now, yes, they wouldn't have won it in the same way that RNG did, so we'll never know if IG could have also taken home the trophy, but the LPL is stacked at the top level, and we have 2 super teams. We have 14 teams, 20 LDL teams. We have more players than anyone in the world, and so it makes sense that we would have 2 star-studded rosters. There's not another roster in the world that you will see this caliber of talent in every single position.
And that's it for us. It's the star-studded nature of these teams, and it's the fact that pound for pound, these are the 2 strongest teams. And then on top of that, we're also saying that RNG might be a cut above, saying that even those talents in their team are going to be stronger here today.
I'm not going to mince words. RNG are a cut above in pretty much every single position but mid lane right now. You heard it from Xiaohu in the opening teaser. He said the sleeping tiger or the spring tiger hasn't really arrived yet. Rookie still reclaims his throne as the best mid laner in the LPL. But Uzi versus Jackie Love, that's going to go to the king. Ming has finally showcased himself on an international stage that he is one of the best supports in the world right now, right behind Mako, or even maybe surpassing Mako. And then you have Let Me, who also kind of that underdog, unsung hero on an international stage against Duke, who has really been struggling to find his footing with IG.
I mean, just hearing the opening to the day right there, Ming has just straight up turned into a badass. You hear him? He's just like, he's the protector now of the ADC. He's essentially the paladin of Royal Never Give Up. All right, let's get into Champion Select. Invictus Gaming are going to take away the Zoe, the Kai'Sa, and the Rakan. I'm going to be first picking the Sway.
And here's the thing that we need to throw down immediately. It's still 8-11, and between Invictus Gaming and RNG, both these teams are still grabbing hold of the ADCs. Now, with the Swain priority pick, typically we see that fed into the bot lane. You can run a kill lane there, you have a lot of CC, which is why the response then is to immediately grab the Alistar Xayah, because A, Xayah incredibly safe with her ultimate, and B, you don't want to give Swain Alistar to a bottom lane because of the amount of CC and kill pressure that you have down there. But the thing is that IG have reached and showcased that they will play the Bruiser, so I expect Jackie Love to grab hold of that, whereas RNG have said, no, Uzi only plays ADCs, we're not going to bend for this, we will bend 8-11 to us.
Now these have been some quick fire picks. Let's just go through the bans real quick from RNG. It was Talia, Shen, and Lucian. Now as you said, the bottom lane has been locked in here from Royal alongside the Braum, so we're expecting that to go into mid lane here for Xiaohu. On the opposite side, it will be Invictus Gaming picking up the Camille and Morgana.
And we have a lot of hit and miss Morgana players in the LPL. It's been a champion that has never really sat well with us, all the way back to 2014 when Cloud9 absolutely bodied OMG with the pick. Thank you, Elimination, for showcasing the LPL how strong Morgana really can be. But I will say that Baolan is one of our better Morgana players.
For sure. We're looking at the bans once again from Royal. They will take away the Draven, so there's not going to be a bounty bottom lane this time from Invictus Gaming. So the Pyke and the Draven combo, not that this time around.
Because I feel like it's not so much about the 2v2 bottom lane, but about the 3v3 bottom lane when you include the jungler. Right now, if you know that Uzi is the sole carry for RNG, even though you can see they're setting up the gold funneling strat by having the Braum in the hands of Xiaohu, then you have your Camille. So if you put the black shield on the Camille and you just have him race in and just delete Uzi and there's nothing he can do about it, then suddenly IG's composition makes a lot more sense in the first 3 picks alone. So my question for RNG, what do you bring to diversify either your threats? You would assume it's going to be in the jungle with the Braum, or are you going to start stacking disengage through your top laner to create more safety for Uzi?
Because just to lay the table just a little bit, because we didn't really get a chance, the teams were just like, we're going to pick everything all at once. These are 2 of the teams that are really stuck to the AD carries in the bottom lane. We've seen a couple games of Yasuo out of JackeyLove, but aside from that, it's primarily been ADCs. You know, early ADCs as well, seeing this side come out of Uzi. On the opposite side, we have seen Drain Bands, the Ashe coming through as well. There's a hover, though I highly doubt it's going to be locked in. Yeah, it will just be the Mundo here for Let Me. But of course, it's their home arena. Uzi just likes to play with the hearts of his fans just a little bit, and of course JackeyLove's going to do the same.
Now, reminder, we are in RNG's home arena in the cage match, if you will, the Beijing Palace where the kings sit on their throne. So IG also taking a bit of a road trip. Not only are they facing their arch nemesis in RNG, but they're facing down the barrel of one of the largest and most vocal crowds in all of the LPL, 700 strong in this arena.
And they're in their house right now. Invictus Gaming going to lock down the Galio pick for themselves. This has been picked, I believe, 5 times so far in the LPL. This will be the 6th game.
And I don't need to tell you what IG's composition is. It's a cannonball comp. That is a Camille, Galio, Aatrox. They are going to do one thing, and they're going to do it very well, and it's going to 5-man stack, immediately blow up Uzi. So here we go, RNG. What is Karsa going to take? Is it going to be something like his Rengar? Is it going to be this hard carry-oriented jungler? So again, you can start mixing up the threats, because Uzi's he's going to have everything blitzed at him.
100%, and this now with the Aatrox means that it will be probably the Swain going into the bottom lane, which means that JackeyLove won't be on a true marksman here, and he will be going on to something different. So we've seen the Yasuo out from him, so how is he going to fare on something like the Swain, the Gala, or the Morgana, depending on where it's swapped up to? I'm assuming the Swain here, as the final pick will be the Vladimir for RNG.
Okay, so right now the only smite that they have is on Xayah.
That is correct.
Yep. We've seen this a couple of times. And I'm very curious how RNG are going to execute it because we haven't seen them do it. We had our questions about 8-11. You know, they like to play the ADC, but they really haven't reached towards the gold funneling strat. And now it has been revealed, where is everyone going to stack? How are they going to utilize the smite? And how are they going to set up around Karsa on Braum?
Will it be a true funnel in the same way that we saw S2FM? He's like, well, look at me, I am the marksman now. We're actually going to bench you our marksman, and we have 2 supports and me in the jungle. This time it's going to be Uzi, a true marksman, with that smite coming in here. Will he go into the jungle and actually be that type of funnel? We'll see. I was kind of hoping they would do this for a long time. I know we had this conversation backstage for us.
I mean, usually how this is going to work is they, if he plays in a traditional bot lane role, they need to bend to Uzi, come down, pick him up, and use him as an invade tool. But it's still the same idea that you have your support rotating around the mid lane. It's about pushing, controlling, and then invading. And if you have someone like Xayah, which, you know, it would feel better if you had Xayah Rakan because you'd get immediate control over the bottom lane. It's still, you then need your bottom lane to come with you to start denying things from the enemy jungle because he does have the smite.
Yeah, Alice is still going to be good though, and it also is at the same time a takeaway from Invictus Gaming, so double whammy in that respect. And on the opposite side, Invictus Gaming. And again, we've got to talk about JackeyLove because the title fight right here is definitely JackeyLove against Uzi. You heard it at the start of the day. JackeyLove, he's coming for Uzi. He wants him dead.
But this wasn't the fight that you wanted. You wanted it on 2 ADCs. You wanted Uzi playing his Vayne. You wanted JackeyLove playing his Draven. So I feel a bit cheated by the 8-11 meta because we do have some, you know, crazy shenanigans happening that these 2 Titans can't just be unleashed. But yes, JackeyLove does have a lot to prove. A lot was on his shoulders when IG fell to RNG in the semifinals. As the analyst desk was saying, it was 1-1 for the regular split. It went to all 5 games with Duke for all 5 of them in the top lane. So a game difference between IG being our MSI representatives and RNG taking the trophy.
Arguably more crushing as well for Invictus Gaming. Instead of it just being a sweep and like, oh hey, well our top laner was just not there. It wasn't the Shy who had played through split long. It was actually them taken to 5 with Duke, and that's going to cause massive problems not only for Duke but the rest of the team. We saw it on stage. It was a collapse in the mental.
And specifically JackeyLove, his inability to position, going too far forward, being caught out at very key pivotal moments, especially on a champion like Xayah, who has so many escapes under her belt. People have said it over and over again that JackeyLove is Uzi with less experience. So the question is, how much game time does he need? How many times does he need to get shots at the king before he starts fighting on the same ground?
And that's the other thing, because you can look at it like maybe we felt cheated is not too true, Marksman coming in here, but you can also look at that. Well, Jakilov is the one to adapt. He's the one to change and bend to the meta, whereas Uzi has definitely not. He's gone straight towards the
Kings
AD carries.
don't kneel, Pulse.
He might here today. I mean, he's facing down the Swain. Has a king ever faced the Birdman? I don't know. Like, we're about to find out, because Jakilov, if he is able to adapt and then win with it, that says more about Jakilov than anything else.
And it is very important because they do have a lot of kill pressure in the lane with Morgana and Swain. Obviously, you need a few levels there so you can start competing, layering your CC, making sure that your bindings are hitting, making sure that your pulls are hitting. And again, I feel like it's more about the 3v3 in the bottom lane than just the 2v2. Getting involved with that jungler, which is why RNG strategy is going to be so interesting and how it's going to revolve and how Ning is going to react to it. We got Ning and Ming into the game.
Ning and Ming, oh, that's going to be fun, yeah. That's going to be exciting, but yeah, for sure. I mean, we have seen some more adaptations from the AD carry side, from Uzi. We even saw him pick up the Kai'Sa and shove it into the top lane very early on into this split in summer.
Yeah, I think that we'll probably see some more Kai'Sa as the series goes on. There's a lot of ADC bans that were leveraged into the draft phase. That's to be expected. Both these guys have played primarily the ADC, as we've been saying over and over again. I actually thought we were going to have a lot more priority on Tahm Kench, and I feel like, again, kind of the priority pick in Swain really adjusted that to grabbing hold of the Alistar, even though I think Kench could have absorbed a lot of that pressure. Jiskin tells me that they want to play offensive here. You know, RNG are not going to play on the back foot. They didn't go for the defensive support pick. They denied it from Invictus Gaming. They have their setup with their Braum right now in the jungle. They want to be able to unlock this bottom lane and start moving it around the map so they get the most bang for their buck on the summoner spells.
I mean, it's very clear this is what they wanted, right? Because you look at how fast those first bans and picks were from both sides. It's like they both got what they wanted in some respects. It's just like, okay, well, they take away Alistar here, we could pick up this in return. If they don't give us, well, of course, we'll go for the Rakan. Again, we'll look to move forward. So it's very clear that both teams had all of the strategies and counter strategies in mind. You can see we're just been bouncing back and forth through the players. I'm assuming it's a small issue on stage with the champion select. Now, this has been happening in the LPL just a couple times over the last couple weeks, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is just a matter of restarting a PC, everyone piling back into champion select, and just trying to get back into game once more.
But then again, it's all that building tension as...
I'm feeling nervous. I don't know how the players are feeling, Frost.
The champions, the compositions. The thing is, as a coach on stage, normally right before you leave, you kind of remind your players, okay, you know, at level 4, you've got the power spike here. This is what your composition wants to do. Remember, guys, this is where you want to attack them. Level 13 or level 11, you must hit hard. And you just hope that the players kind of sit there as they have this moment with themselves and just retain this information, retain the focus, and remember their game plan. As I say that, it was just cackling. And
yeah,
that's a terrifying scene.
I mean, he's feeling good, honestly. I mean, this is the uncrowned king, now the crowned king. This is the mad dog. Now, whether he's a dog no more, maybe combine the two, and he's the mad king. Both check out. He's the Mad King. This is him. This is Uzi. This is Uzi unleashed at his peak.
So we just got confirmation that it was a PC failure issue, so we're going to be redoing Champion Select. I think they actually might be doing that right now. It's the same pick and ban, but they are quickly flying through this one, and then we're going to get into game.
Fantastic. So it just gives a little bit more time for us to players to talk amongst themselves, and I assume that the coach is on stage with them as well, so it just gives them a little bit more prep time.
And this also gives us a bit more time to talk to the audience and reset the expectations around these teams.
Sure.
You know, in 2018 spring, it was about, you know, Invictus Gaming, the record-breaking team, the super team. RNG had to make a miracle run from round 1 all the way through to the finals.
They were not the favorites.
To finally lift the trophy. They really struggled all regular split. So it feels like the tables have turned in a sense in that where the analyst desk overwhelmingly was predicting IG, except for Clement, shout out to you over there. I actually feel that this is super heavy weighted towards RNG. Again, it sounds very strange to stand on the belief that the MSI winning squad with Let Me and Karsa starting is going to fall to an Invictus Gaming with Duke, who has over, you know, last split 80% of the team's losses.
Sure. And while we're shouting out Clement, I also want to make sure that all our analysts are heard, because PP the Cat We cut the clip early, but actually they went for the other bolt afterwards. So I'm expecting that what that means is a 2-1 victory to Invictus Gaming. So there's still, it's not a 2-0. I just want to be clear that that's what PP was thinking.
And of course, thank you, PP, on all of the other furry friends that we have in the LPL for all of our matches of the week. If you haven't tuned into it, we tip against the pets. So we've had, I believe, Rich from BLG,
yes,
their
nice.
corgi. We've had Nice from EDG. I know that Team WE has a bunch of kittens that I think we're going to be competing with.
Okay.
And now we got a kitten from Suning.
Are we winning right now? Or
I
are
hope
the pets
so.
winning?
I think the 8-ball is actually beating all of us.
I heard the other day that the 8-ball was actually beating Raz, and a certain play-by-play named Pulse is actually in the lead right now, 2017 World's Pick'em Champion, by the way. But I think I'm not, I don't know what's happening because we had the upset earlier today.
And I do want to give Raz another voice into this conversation because he does bring up a good point that, you know, the last time that we saw Duke, they did go to 5 games against RNG, who eventually went on to win MSI. Duke has had much more time with the team to find synergy. He has been warming up. But I will say this, Raz, I see you dancing over there. Duke's most played champions right now are all carries. He's got the Aatrox again. This is now his 5th game for it.
And what's
he
his
has
damage percentage?
one of the lowest damage shares of any top laner in the league.
Beaten out by players who primarily play tanks in the top lane. So just dwell on that for a second as we're about to get onto the rift here between Invictus Gaming and Royal Never Give Up. That's new.
We have 6 arenas in the LPL, including our home base in Shanghai, where we're casting right now. And as we continue to expand across China, you start to see the local culture seeping into the chants, the Chongqing chant of the Snake Pit. And now, I'm going to call it the clap of the palace there from RNG, the
like.
drums of Xi'an for Team WE.
The Callus clap. That's an obscure reference, but yeah, it's super cool to hear. We heard in Xi'an yesterday as well from WE, the battlements, super cool to hear. But take a look at the keystones real quick if there's anything jumping out to you, Frost.
Well, it was up and then it was down.
We still got them off to the side of your screen, but mostly common.
I do want to point out quickly what's happening right now. We were curious where Uzi was going to start. It was a delayed invade from IG to split the map. That's clever because they see that the ADC has Smite, so naturally they want to invade, so he doesn't get to just start there for free, but it is going to be Uzi in the jungle.
That's quite the percentage there, 91% to 9% on who's going to win this game.
So here we go. We finally got it in the LPL. The gold funneling strat
into the mid lane.
Entirely for the ADC. But I'm curious of why Xayah, especially when they had the opportunity to pick what I feel would be a much stronger hyper carry.
Sure.
Now, Clement was talking on the desk about this idea that Invictus Gaming like to play around the 1-item power spike. And I don't necessarily feel that Xayah really sits into that window, but we're going to keep our eyes on Uzi's build pass, see what he goes for. I feel like Xayah's still sitting pretty strong on kind of a 2-item power spike, preferably for the 3, but maybe they feel confident enough that with this gold funneling strategy that they can just ramp that up fast enough that it doesn't matter.
That's going to be a nice binding down to Zhao, who already his bottom lane is actually just handing it to RNG's bottom lane. You see some of the stats between Baolan and Ming. So we were talking about earlier, Ming has definitely grown into his own shoes there in the bottom lane. I know when he initially came onto RNG, big shoes to fill alongside Uzi, but he absolutely did it. And now he's definitely grown a mind of his own. You know, he is the alpha now in that relationship. And just hearing him today, just super cool. This guy's grown up.
I mean, I've been of the controversial opinion that we have the 2 best supports in the world in the LPL, and that's hard to say because people say, you know, Mako and Ming cannot be the best because they don't play against people like Gorilla, like Mata.
Yeah.
And it's not to take away anything from those 2 legendary players, but I actually just believe that Mako and Ming are that good. Mechanically speaking, shot calling speaking, just the whole package. Whereas if I look at someone like Mata, who, while next to Def, he's really revamped his lane phase, and they are a devastating duo for KT as well as in the mastermind shot calling. Someone like Gorilla doesn't necessarily have that same reputation with Prey.
And a second, it's going to be based off of this next briefcase going Duke's way. Didn't land, so Letme's going to give up the ghost there, but that's ooh, yeah, this is not good for Duke up here.
Yeah, tell me how Duke's doing still.
Not great, not so hot. As Mundo keeps getting control of this lane, it's going to become a whole lot worse. And honestly, can Ning actually spare the time to go top lane? Well, currently he's pathing up there, so there might be a chance for him to try and even up the momentum in that lane.
I like how Karsa's now turned to 2 secondary support. Hold on, though. Like you were saying, see if Duke can at least get a good back timer here, or possibly even bait Let Me forward.
That's what he was trying there with the Dark Flight. It's like, I have no gap close anymore, I have no escape. Come at me, but...
Help me, I'm helpless.
Yeah, I'm so helpless, yeah, but Let Me's just like, well, I'm full health Mundo and I'm farming close to my town and I got a freeze, so I literally don't care. Go back to base, Duke. So that's what he's going to do, pick up his long sword and teleport back into lane. But the fact that Mundo has this aggression early and is able to control the lane with the fact he has grasp as well is scary. He's even putting points into his cleaver right here. He doesn't even need to put secondary points into masochism, so he's just straight up winning.
And then checking back on Uzi's first back, he went for the boot thrash, so able to get around the map that much faster. As we see, it's been pretty standard. You just run in, grab all the farm that you can. Worked his way through the river, and I believe got one of the scuttle crabs. The second one will be spawning bottom, which they have control over right now. Until Shadow loses all his health.
Yeah, Weeze Vladimir, he's going to get some of it back, but he won't if Ning pass into the bottom side. Now he's seen them on the ward. Falcon's forward flash off to the side as well. Nice reaction out from Ning, who's getting caught anyway, right into the vision of Empire. Here comes Ning for the sidelines, and that'll be first blood to Invictus.
And Invictus Gaming played that beautifully to make sure that they secured the kill and punish Ming. But this is what I'm talking about. It's not just the mechanical skill, it's the foresight, it's kind of the whole package between someone like Ming and Mako, and why I hold them in such high regard as well-rounded, jack of all trades, master of everything supports. Like, mechanically, that was beautiful from both teams. Huge shout out to Ming, finding the pulverize at the perfect moment, dodging the predicted flash from Baolan.
And we can watch it right here, because as you said, perfect stuff going out of Ming right there. But unfortunately, there was just too many spells and he was overwhelmed at this point because he had no other ways to get out.
Yeah. Did what he could. Good job on Balan, making sure that he had the black shield, because otherwise Camille would have gone immediately into the tower and they could have traded 1 for 1.
Just expertly played from both sides, but unfortunately just had the numbers advantage there. So first blood to IG, and Ming is now in the bottom side. Actually pulling a bit of a Balan. Balan likes to roam up to the mid lane now and then, but Ming, yeah, just checking, seeing what's happening, but Rookie's going to be pushed to the tower, so he's just going to place down wards in the river.
And of course the issue also is that he walked through this ward, which he pinged, has realized that he spotted it. It's a bit dangerous to take that. He's going to have to walk all the way back around, back towards this tower.
Well, he's pushed anyways, so yeah, he'll take the long route. And he's got Hex Flash, so it's all good. He's going to be able to farm this one out, no problems. So where did that kill go? Well, it went over to Ning in the jungle, so he's going to be able to move that into the side lanes now as Ming most likely going to... Oh, he's actually maxing the pulverize right here. As again, Xiao is taking all of these to the face. He needs to stop doing that because there's constantly bindings and these glacier-like projectiles just hitting him over and over again in this lane.
And Balan was a little bit short on the black shield, though. I believe Ming's CC connected with him.
It did. He was close range. He was harder to react. But the question marks for me is Ming is actually maxing his pulverize. Now, typically in the matchup, yes, but you also put extra points into your headbutt because you want to break the black shield of Baolan and then fill up the pulverize, which is the actual CC. Now, I don't know if this is a mind game saying that Baolan, I assume you're putting points into black shield, so I'm just going to put it into pulverize anyways. So it's just curious because this is an adaptation for sure from the Paladin of RNG.
And I think it's also the fact that you have more play around the idea that it's not just about breaking the black shield. I mean, you can go that route because, like you're saying, you put more points in W, you do more damage. But if Jackie Love and Baolan ever mess up in their positioning and the black shield is standing next to someone who doesn't have black shield, like what they're doing now, Ming's going to have a shorter available cooldown on Pulverize. And also the idea that Pulverize is just so much more valuable, especially in tandem with Hex Flash and Flash, for starting these big fights and skirmishes.
Fully agree. In the bottom lane, it was a little bit obvious that Invictus Game was setting up something as both Ejaculove and Balan just gunned it towards the duo laners. So again, Ning is putting a lot of the pressure down in this bottom lane.
Yeah, and we had that conversation in Champions. Like, you know, with the Swain priority pick, it pretty much, you know, draws the line and says, we are going to be camping bot lane. It's about having the Swain Alistar. It forced Ming onto Alistar. Now, we don't mind when Ming's on Alistar. It's one of his signature champions, one of the signature champions of the LPL. So if you're going to be a good support in the LPL, you better play this champion better than anyone else, and he certainly does.
Very true. I want to take a second while we've got a bit of downtime just to talk about Invictus Gaming and how the week has gone. As the cast is just being a little annoying in the mid lane because Invictus Gaming had 3 games this week. Now, we casted their Sune game actually earlier in the week, and it just didn't look like they were prepared for that match. And it's like, okay, well, this is essentially final exam time going into Rift Rivals, so did they actually just put all their eggs in the RNG basket and saying, we're only going to prepare for this big game and hope what we have so far is enough to tide us over to that match? And right here, we're seeing a lot more preparation out for them. So that would tell me, yes.
No, I 100% agree with you. You can see on the bottom of your screen the summer stats between RNG and IG. It is definitely a grudge match. I feel like, you know, if I was Invictus Gaming's coach, this was a strategy that I would definitely talk about. You know, we need to prepare something for the bottom lane. You know, if it's a level 1 invade where we split the map and then just try to deny a lot of pressure or force from Uzi. But hold on.
Ultimatum onto Let Me, pops the early ultimate because Aatrox is not in range. Has to flash away, but it might just be enough damage. Need to bust down right now. Follows up, not enough damage. And Let Me will walk it off. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Ascension comes through. Xiaohu backing away. It's going to be on this net move. Finds him. Oh! Blasted point blank. Jacula finds the kill.
And welcome to Lane Kingdom. I may have to eat my words right now. Invictus Gaming proving that from the top to the bottom that they can take the 1v1, and specifically it's Ning that are turning the tides.
I mean, this Boxer has come out swinging in this cage, and RNG are currently reeling. Multiple kills across the board for us.
And when the LPL started, we really grabbed hold of Camille as kind of like the uncontested first pick. Her flex potential, her ability to move through the jungle, her kill pressure, separating picks, and it has been Ning again on this Camille just devastating the map. We take a look at the bottom. Yeah, Xiaohu doing spring Xiaohu things. I really want to give credit to like a massive outplay and how beautifully Invictus Gaming did this, but ultimately he just ate that one phase first, way too far forward, didn't need to die here, and was punished for his mistakes.
It's even small things. It even looks like nerves coming from Xiaohu, and that is weird to say because it's Xiaohu. Like, I watch him line himself up against the wall, so only give him 2 options out the never move. Like, it's just weird.
I mean, to be frank, Xiaohu has not been playing well. I think he peaked a little bit at the MSI and kind of reminded everyone of his MSI 2016 performance when he solo killed FLICKR, but it has been a very long time since the little tiger really grew up and reminded everyone that he does have some bite left to him. So it's unfortunate. The thing is if RNG really turn into true form, it's Xiaohu playing at his best and Uzi playing at his best simultaneously. And just imagine how terrifying that would be.
That's true, because we've been focusing so much on the bottom lane, but it almost feels like a dummy, like a substitute, because in the mid lane you've got Uzi, who's just soaking farm right now. It's currently sat on 150.
But the crazy thing is, Pulse, is that they still won MSI with Xiaohu not playing at his best. Like, we have actual tape of Xiaohu playing better. So, you know, what is the skill ceiling for these kings if Karsa, MLXG, Xiaohu, and Uzi all decide to turn on all at once?
Well, I guess there's a point that we're both trying to make in different ways, is that there are multiple threats on this team. It's just like, well, if Xiaohu isn't having a knockout performance, well, Uzi's going to pick up the slack, and vice versa, right? You even have Ming in the same way, who's going to be able to make carries on the support champion.
It's also just the responsibility that Xiaohu has with this champion. Of course, Vladimir globally is just everywhere, one of the most played champions.
Again.
Yeah, and he's got W too.
He has W, but I understand why he wouldn't burn it, because if he did, then it's lights out. But Ming, dangerously close to this bush right now. Ning has the ultimatum and the flash, plus the skirmishes.
I feel like Ming's really good at protecting ADCs, but Xiaohu is a mid laner, so that's maybe where some of the miscommunication is coming from.
They're sensing a disturbance in the force, but I don't know if it's enough for, because they're playing it safe, and Ning knows this, but he's just like, maybe they step a little too far forward. Maybe there's a potential for me to find the ultimatum. But they were in range multiple times. I think he just showed himself. Yeah, and multiple pings go down immediately from RNG, and it's like, we knew it, the gig is up.
And what's interesting is they actually didn't know that he was in that bush. They may have suspected it, but Ming was actually pulled up towards Karsa, and Karsa was defensively standing at his blue. So they knew that Ning was on the bottom side of the map, but not quite where he was, and it was just the call to play defensive across the board.
But it feels good when you finally see him pop out of the rush. It's like, okay, it wasn't all for nothing. It was good that we played defensive, good that we actually conserved that way, because essentially we just wasted the time of the enemy jungle. Because Ning has this initial kill, but is now just trying to find his way into multiple lanes. Now, mid lane's not going to happen because it's a dual lane. Top lane is a potential, but we've already tried that, and Let Me just walked it off. So it's tough for Ning right now.
And just taking stock across the map and kind of where we are right now, because 13 minutes in, only 2 kills, it feels like a very slow game for the LPL, and that we will, you know, get the scaling potential towards these late game fights, although hold on.
Oh, here comes Ming into the top lane. Bloodwell is on, but Duke, where have you got to run right now? Absolutely nowhere. Let Me, easiest kill of his life.
And that just feels bad. And finally, Xiaohu's learned his lesson!
Uh-oh.
He was backing. Even if he dies here, I'm just happy that he was backing.
Predator Sanguine Pull. Oh, he's got the cone. Jumps over with him. Ning with the follow into the ultimatum. This will be his. See you later, Vladimir.
Okay, he dies. Invictus Gaming read the cross-map play beautifully. They should actually get the tower simply because they have more members here, as well as a massive creep wave. There they go. Great move from IG. But Xiaohu, he realized, I'm in a bad position. He started the back. Normally, he wouldn't even have backed. He would have just run face first into instant death. So Little things.
Little things. He's definitely growing in a good direction. RNG will respond with their own tower in the top lane, but the momentum is absolutely with Invictus right now into the bottom lane. They'll find themselves a second turret. Now, RNG, they have access to the Herald, and this will be the trade.
Still feels really good for IG right now because you get the earlier gold, and as Clement was talking about on the desk, they really like to play around the 1-item, 2-item power spike, so yes, the Herald may mean an earlier tower, as I say that though.
Duke caught out. He's looking like a bit of a dog in top lane right now, because he's constantly just being caught out by this roaming cow. But once again, he's going to get the wave, push it back out.
Okay, resetting everything. It's still IG trading up, however, because they'll also get the Mountain Dragon on top of it, and their composition is quite devastating on an open map. Again, it's a classic cannonball composition. We've seen this from the LPL time and time again. It's all about the Camille stacking on, or excuse me, the Galio stacking on top of the Camille, as well as the Aatrox, and just blowing up Uzi, who RNG are funneling all of this gold into. So I love watching compositions like this because it really does come down to execution, where both sides are given so many different resources to try to outplay the enemy team. And I then want to go back to this idea on the desk where it feels like there's still moments where we're getting to these late game portions of the game, so team fighting does exist in this meta. But I will say this, there's less team fights, but they are so much more important than they have ever been before. Clement said that it's still games that are being decided by these Baron fights, whereas normally in the previous meta you'd maybe have 5 Baron fights. I think at best you get 2. And Invictus Gaming have never been a 5v5 team. This composition, very easy to execute on a 5v5. It's rather binary. They have a giant target. They know exactly what they need to hit. But RNG are one of the best team fighting teams in the world at protecting their ADC.
I mean, even better that they're ahead right now because it makes an easy composition just hit like an absolute truck. But that's what we're talking about, protecting Uzi. And what are the tools? Because you would usually look at the Camille as Shelly is charging up for a grand old charge in the mid lane. This should be a tower here, though there's a reaction in from the rest of Invictus Gaming. So it will just be a nice chunk of damage on some mid lane tower. To go back to the original point, Ming is going to be there to protect his ADC. He said at the start of the day, you will not hit my AD carry. And with Camille, it's a point-and-click CC into a cannonball. Usually that's bad, because you're just like, if it's Jarvan, then we can do something about it. But it can be interrupted by Pulverize, and that's probably why he's maxing it.
Which is what's really cool about kind of the interactions of these compositions, because if you look at RNG's comp, they really have no way to start a fight unless Ming is the person who's doing it. He's the only player with the hard CC available. But if he's going to be the defender of Uzi, and especially when Uzi is on a champion like Xayah that excels so much when people are diving back into her, Invictus Gaming need to make sure that they layer everything correctly, because they don't want to burn all of their backline dives onto a Xayah who's just going to ult flash away. But that then means that things like the QSS, like the flash, like the ult, these are the 3 cooldowns that we're constantly going to have to be checking in and paying attention to, because this entire game for RNG really pivots around those.
Oh, instant initiation onto the Alistar. It's going to be a late unbreakable will, so he's going to down the spot right here. I don't know if RNG are going to try and respond to this. Invictus Gaming just find Ming in rotation.
And finally they catch the cow. I believe like Ming's tried that 3 times this game so far and been successful, but it's an open map. Frankly, Ming shouldn't be there at this point. They have no control. They're still waiting for a lot of their scaling options. It's Vladimir and Xayah. And yes, Vladimir is peaking a little bit early with how his itemization, his rune setup has changed, but this is still all about, you know, that 2 to 3 item window and pocket that RNG want to sit in.
But this is, again, Invictus Gaming just finding random picks across the map, and you're talking about the power of RNG, the team fights that come through. Now, it just makes me think about every Rogue Warriors game ever, where it's just like they're losing and then they find a team fight and win the game, and you're like, oh, okay. Feels like they need to stop getting away with this at a certain point, but it always feels like in this game we could have a very similar scenario for us.
And it could be that mentality. You know, some coaches, some analysts come in and they say, you know, this is all about the skirmishes, this is all about the early game, the lane phase, the matchups. That's what's important. That's what we're focusing on draft. We're always going to make sure that, you know, maybe we'll deny one matchup, but we're going to get the better matchups everyone else and just crush them in lane kingdom. Or you have teams saying, no, it's actually still about the team fight, and it's one team fight in front of Baron, and you don't get another chance because of how quickly you can snowball the game. We're going to prepare for that moment, and we're going to execute on it perfectly every single time. So the brawling or the one sucker punch.
Instead of the multiple cuts over the rest of the game, trying to cripple them to that point. But that's obviously the counterpoint, right? Have Invictus Gaming dealt enough damage to RNG, which at that point they won't be able to respond with that miraculous team fight. Those are the questions we're going to be asking ourselves. As for now, Invictus Gaming, in terms of lane assignments, are putting 3 mid, 2 bot, looking to try and put pressure down into this Mundo, but also trying to crack this mid lane tower.
And that is something that we also need to talk about. If IG don't want to funnel into the 5v5, which is exactly where RNG wants to play, they do have the options because their Aatrox did get through lane quite powerfully. They do have so much mobility between the Camille and the Galio that they can start separating the map and not even try to give RNG their one, big wombo combo. I don't want to say wombo combo, but their big 5v5 team fight where they find their strength.
I mean, it's essentially the Exodia, right? They all want to come together as the 5v5. Ming off to the side. Ming has the ultimate, but he's down to half. The rest of RNG are following up as well. Mundo's by himself, all by his lonesome, but there is no Duke, there is no Ning there to try and deal with him in the bottom lane. You also will need to note that Duke has itemized the Executioner's Calling, so it is likely he's going to try and stick in those side lanes, as Ning is looking for the initiate. Instant ultimate out from Uzi. He's opened the distance, but Casa is dead.
And there's just no reason for RNG to be face checking. Uzi needs to be very careful, still has access to his QSS and his flash, but doesn't want to necessarily burn them, because again, 20 minutes, Baron is now going to be spawning in 17 seconds. We're looking for that one team fight that can really just end games before they begin, and IG have a leg up.
Trying to find a pick off to the side onto Rookie, but he is a tanky Galio right now.
There's the QSS. So Xayah ult gone, QSS gone,
down.
Only the flash left available, has the smite, so no defensive summoner like a heal available. I think this tower just needs to go.
Let me hits the ultimate right there, so he's going to absorb the damage from Invictus Gaming, while Xiaohu can step in range and clear it out. So actually really well played there from RNG to use the limited resource they have left just to scrounge that tower back for themselves. But yeah, I mean, Invictus Gaming will have to back away from this. Next dragon is spawning in 15 seconds, so just expecting the reset from Invictus Gaming. And before we move on, I just looked at the items from IG. Triple Zhonya's at 20 minutes.
Want to dive in, want to press their Zhonya's, want to outlast. They are the bruiser composition. If they kill Uzi, there's not really a lot of damage left on the team at this point in the game. Vladimir only has access to his Proto Belt. He's more about amplifying everyone else, especially when you look at Uzi CS. 319, has the Essence Reaver, has the Hurricane. So it's pretty clear it's, the spread all the love around from the Xayah, and if Xayah dies, that might be
So does
it.
RNG. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, as you said, this is a funnel composition. We're at 21 minutes and it's 320 farm. I can't remember who has the record currently. I know Perks had like 300 farm in 19 minutes.
He was going back and forth in European LCS.
So it's up there for sure. I don't know if it's a breadwinner, but it's definitely up there. There's a lot of farms at Uzi.
And he was just good before the gold funneling strategy even existed.
There you go. And to the top lane, we've got Rookie actually swapping in. We'll get all this juicy minion wave over to himself. And hey, speaking of which, we actually get to see how much gold Uzi is sitting on. He just spent some gold going back to base, and he's currently on 10,000 for himself. And you look at everyone else in the game, it's about 8,000 to 7,000 on themselves for Invictus Gaming, who are actually 4,000 gold ahead. So that really says something.
2,000 more gold than the next closest person in the game. The fact that he has his QSS and his BF sword in his back pocket before the Baron was even up for contest. Pretty nuts. Again, my only confusion is a champion like Xayah. Like, I understand from a kit perspective, but I don't quite agree with it from an Uzi perspective. Uzi has never been known as a Xayah player. Got a lot of flack for it when he didn't play it in 2017 Worlds. Finally brought it out against LGD in spring and just kind of proved all the haters wrong. Like, no, I can play this champion. Showed it a little bit at MSI, but, it's
So why are you hating now, Frosk?
It still doesn't resonate with me. It's not quite the Uzi champion. Makes sense in this composition. They dive in. Xayah is great at people trying to run at her because of her ability to spread the feathers behind them and then land the CC. But he's not the best Xayah player in our league. It's actually Mystic.
How's Mystic doing right now?
How's that bench feeling?
Yeah. Well, Uzi, so far, we haven't really seen him be in many combat situations. We've just seen Squires jump in front of the king and then die for him. So it's going to be a while until we actually see a full-on team fight.
But this ARAM is getting pretty ridiculous from Invictus Gaming, and I have to kind of harp back towards their Suning Gaming series. One of the criticisms that I had for IG is that they felt a little bit slow. This was a team that was one of the bloodiest teams in the LPL, one of the fastest teams in the LPL, and still are a pretty quick-paced team, but they're starting to play a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious. Now, against an opponent like RNG, that makes sense. But I just wish that they would push it a little bit more, because while they've been sitting in this ARAM for the last 7 minutes, that's still Uzi climbing farther and farther ahead. He's now Flamed Horizon. He's 2,500 gold up on the nearest opponent. He's about to be 3 items Xayah with a QSS available. And if it comes down to, okay, we weren't able to kill Uzi before he got massive, when we had the opportunity that maybe we could have punished him before Vladimir was, you know, level 11, who's now level 12 and had access to double points in ultimate, before Uzi had access to 3 items, including, you know, an Infinity Edge or something like that.
Sure. I mean, frankly, what it looks like right now is almost what Vici wanted to be and could never be, like the death by 1,000 cuts, because Invictus Gaming are like getting pick by pick by pick, you know, chipping away at towers, knocking them over, and eventually they're starting to, you know, chip away at RNG as a team, but, I mean, as you said, Uzi is only really getting stronger, and the Juggernaut is still slowly encroaching forward, so at that certain point when the Juggernaut finally just comes down and the backhand hits Invictus Gaming, how far did he fly across the room?
It's gone double BF. Sorry, I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm just watching Uzi's items because I was curious
I'm just
what
watching them go up and his
third item was going to be, and he's just going for the flat AD, which we have seen a lot of ADCs do globally. So he just wants the damage or the flat damage right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, when he hits triple items, he's going to hit like an absolute truck, and that's going to be the breaking point for RNG as a team.
But RNG are one of the best teams in the world by recognizing when they have their item breakpoints on Uzi and then immediately saying, okay, we need to start a team fight right this second. So as soon as they acquire information about where IG are, if they're ever split up, I expect that RNG are going to Flying V just blitz at Invictus Gaming.
Reading right now, they're winding back for the punch, you know, and with this, all this time is just waiting for them to do so. And Invictus Gaming, this is their time essentially. Like, they need to get objectives, they need to push further, and that's what they're doing. They're into the top jungle, they're placing down deep vision, they're rotating between lanes, seeing if they can find a stray cow, just looking for wards right now and find themselves a pick. But RNG are not relenting anything.
And it is a very tense moment as Invictus Gaming are trying to, you know, grab control around this Baron area. And because it's not Karsa with the smite, and it is Uzi, you know, how much experience does Uzi really have being that defining, you know, smite steal battle there?
That's a great point for us.
Versus someone like Karsa, who, if he's in the pit, he is going to get the monster objective.
Wait, imagine if Karsa just jumps over the wall and it's like, oh, wait, I have exhaust. Yeah, I mean,
exhaust
we could,
someone randomly.
Yeah, that's difficult, and that actually goes back, like, as much as we joke about it, it means that RNG have to win that fight. Because if it comes to a IG start the Baron situation, RNG look for the 50-50, IG are probably going to get the Baron, and RNG have to win the fight there.
Which is why I actually really like how cautious Invictus Gaming are being in this instance. Because again, this isn't Sunin Gaming, this is RNG. You definitely want to respect this team. And they're splitting up the map. They tried to inch their vision line forward. They decided that, okay, we've acquired enough free wave on the map, so we're going to go back, collect all of our wards again, spread you all out, get all the waves pushing, and then start moving back in towards that river. And if they can get an opportunity where RNG are split up, where they're forced into a fight that they need to take because Invictus Gaming have control over the Baron, then that's best case scenario.
This is your daily Uzi check-in on CS. He is currently at 412 at 26 minutes.
Cabin crew, we're hitting 35,000 feet. You may stand up and walk around. We're at pretty much core build for an AD
we
carry.
are cruising right now. And Invictus Gaming need to see something from you, friends. Right now they are pathing towards the top side of the map. There are multiple control wards here, and they do have control over the Baron pit. And moving as this squad right here. Duke is in the bottom lane, going to be shaping up against Let Me down here. Also has the Gwynsu's Rage Blade, so we'll actually see if he can actually do some damage against this massive brick wall that's going to be running towards him, shouting Mundo.
I feel like it's still going to be controlled for Duke here. Not necessarily in kill pressure, because it's still relatively difficult to chase down the Mundo, but it should be pushing waves back and forth and Let Me just being responsible of catching the incoming wave. So we'll see if IG are able to burn his TP, or if they can use kind of this space where it's Let Me playing slightly on the back foot in terms of catching the serve, and then he's, you know, 8 seconds slow towards the rotation for a team fight.
Also means that Duke on the bot side of the map, single target damage is Aatrox's A-game. That's what he's going to bring it towards, and he'll just destroy every dragon on the bot side of the map. So as long as we're playing to the top side here from both teams, Invictus Gaming will just gradually gain dragons over time. And hey, the next one happens to be Infernal, so it's just going to get better for them if we get in this stalemate. But again, you're always looking at like Uzi, and at a certain point, I mean, Uzi's going to be like 4 items, 5 items, full build, and now he's got Infinity Edge and he's triple items.
But the reality is that Invictus Gaming have 20 million damage threats effectively on this this comp. Everyone but their Morgana, and again, the mobility for them to play side lanes if they never want to group up in 5v5.
Oh, no, he's in range.
That would have felt bad.
Yeah, imagine if Let Me dies and it's like, are you actually kidding me? I did actually ward my flanks.
Versus RNG, who just have Xiaohu and Xayah as their primary damage threats.
And again, Duke's power means that he can push into the jungle, he can give over buffs over to Jackula if resources are going his way, but as this goes over time, RNG, they're fine with starving their Mundo. They're double supports in this team. Xiaohu's fine with being gold starved as well. It's all about Uzi. So as much as they can funnel into this guy, the better. It really is just about that one breaking point, and we really are just going towards that point for us.
And just kind of to back up and look big picture again, because I always love the conversation, although as I say that, Ning's like, no, we're going to end this game right here.
How about engage? Okay, you got a second. Go ahead.
I was going to say the interesting idea that Invictus Gaming do not play how RNG do, so there's no way. Never mind.
Rookie
there we go.
getting caught out. The CC layer is huge. Goes right into the Zhonya's. Duke off to the side, but they have abandoned their mid laner. Rookie is dead, and RNG looking for more.
And look at how much vision Invictus Gaming have over the bottom side of the map, and they choose to walk into the one dark area. But here we go, RNG charging forward.
J-Love on the front lines. He's going to have the black shield on his backside, so he's going to be protected for now, but I'll ring back and forth. They're still firing back, but it's a 4 versus 5 affair.
Now, as I said, RNG are a very good team at just recognizing, do we have our item power spikes? Yes, we do. Immediately pull the trigger and start looking for a team fight. But they're also very good at recognizing exactly where they needed to play on the map. They never lost control over the Baron area. They were constantly trading vision back and forth in this tug of war with Invictus Gaming. They didn't bother with trying to control the bottom side of the map at all. You know, maybe that's because it was double ocean. Maybe if it was an Infernal, it would have changed things up. The next Dragon's going to be that much more important for them. But made sure that they had their red zone defense around Baron, absorbed the farm, let Invictus Gaming push them in, and struck when they knew that they had the opportunity.
I mean, Rookie even knew, but watch this. He keeps moving forwards. He checks, and then it's just like, yeah, I'm going to walk in anyway.
I love the black shield that comes in as Rookie's champion. It's just in the air like, this is my life now.
I like how he
give
flaps
up.
a little as well. It's great.
The bounce house.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience when you're just being completely blasted by RNG's composition there, because they do have a hefty bit of CC on their side, but also props to Invictus Gaming, because they push back forwards. A lot of that was on Jackulov, and it's like, okay, well, yes, we are 4 versus 5, but don't you even dare think about starting Baron. You're going to need more than that, so still, it's a nice pick over to RNG right there, but it's not going to be game-ending nor breaking.
And what I was going to say is that even though Invictus Gaming were considered the stronger team for majority LPL split, there's no way to know if they would have won MSI because it was such an Uzi-specific way. You know, that miracle team fight where he just came flying in on Kai'Sa for RNG to do it, and Jackulov would not be that player. So seeing if IG can succeed with this type of composition, with this type of style, which is still very IG, regardless of not having an ADC.
Frost, Invictus Gaming just walked to the Baron and took it. I don't know what to say, really, about that, but RNG were just out of position, and Invictus Gaming have Baron now.
Well, IG finally recognized that they could do that. I've been kind of waiting for them to do it for the last 7 minutes, but they were fine just trading farm back and forth. To RNG's credit, still didn't really lose control of the Baron. They saw it happening. Yeah. Issue is that Uzi was like, ooh, map, farm, gotta farm.
Oh, but there's Merkwolves.
Damn, I have Smite, you don't.
That's true, yeah, there is no possibility for a Smite steal.
That's again the mentality. You know, Papa Smithy brought up a great point when he's talking about Deft moving towards these bruisers. It's that you still have that ADC mentality. Like, it changes how you play, how you think about the game, the muscle memory of playing, you know, 10,000 X hours of a certain style. Uzi's not ever been in a position where he needs to be constantly next to the Baron pit to look for a Smite contest.
I'm sorry, it's just very satisfying watching Aatrox hit minions when he's got Gwynsius and Titanic Hydra. We're 13 minutes into this game right now, and Thermal's about to be spawning. There's a good chance that RNG try and use this as a catalyst for a fight, or collapse on bottom lane. But it's like, I know a lot of people can be like, Pulse, Frost, why aren't you making a big deal? Like, Invictus Gaming have Baron right now. Well, it's because if they run into Uzi, then he gets what he wants anyway.
But the issue is also that I don't think RNG are going to run into them unless they have the perfect scenario. They're not going to throw this game away on the Infernal, especially when Invictus Gaming have Baron. So the only way RNG fight is if it's on top of all of their vision, they know everything. Which walking blind into an Infernal Drake, because if they wipe there, Invictus Gaming just rock into mid lane with Baron in game.
But, you know, conversely, if RNG wipe Invictus Gaming, it's also going to be game. So, push into the mid lane. Ooh, that's an ultimate there from Uzi. He takes to the skies and burns a big ult there. In the bottom lane, we've got a push out from 2. Ning gonna finish this one off. Duke and Ning need to get out alive, however, but they're chunking down Let Me at the same time. He's gonna go all in. Here comes the cannonball from downtown, and Rookie blows up Uzi. Where was that farm now when he most needed it? Not to be seen. And RNG are falling apart. Baolan zones away to support. Triple kill to Duke, and Let Me, the last Mundo standing.
RNG's composition had no win condition outside of Uzi, and he just got deleted from the map. Invictus Gaming, with the more versatile comp, with the better read on 8-11, will dismantle RNG in game 1.
Royalty? What royalty? Monarchy? What monarchy? Invictus Gaming, start their revolution right now!
And it felt like everything just instantly exploded. It was calm, it was calculated. RNG recognized that they had to give things away, that they lost the Baron because Uzi was out of position, not available for the Smite contest. They got shoved out of everything. And Invictus Gaming said, no, enough is enough. We have the items, we have the power, let's have the game.
Invictus Gaming taking game 1. Majority of the analysts thought it was going to be RNG. It could still be, but that first win, it goes a long way, and it means a lot for the team regardless.
And damage to champions basically tells the story here. Uzi had about 3k gold on anyone anywhere close to him, but he only does 7.9k. If the guy who has all of your power isn't hitting anyone, you're going to lose. So Invictus Gaming, I feel like they read RNG like a book from draft. They came in with a very clear-cut plan. They've changed up their coaching staff recently. They've always had the best drafts in the LPL. There was a reason why they were the record-breaking team.
And for us, I'm going to reveal some locker room talk right now on air, so be ready. You know, we were talking about this, and I was saying, like, I'm just waiting for Uzi to take this Smite, either go into jungle or be the main funnel of the team. And you were like, I just don't really feel it right now. If he dies, then it's just all over. And what just happened right there for us? He dies at the end of the game after getting 500 farm, and it's literally just all based on that, and the game ends.
But RNG, they've done this before. It's kind of been a thorn in their side in terms of that they just completely fumble a draft. We saw it in their documentary when they went to MSI. We saw it throughout the regular split. I have to believe that RNG have more than just this one composition, and we're going to see them remind everyone that they are capable from playing carry positions across the map. Get Karsa off of Braum, get Uzi out of the mid lane, and put Xiaohu on a champion to carry.
I mean, also remember, this is the MSI lineup coming out of RNG right now, and they just got decked by Invictus Gaming, bodied by a Duke in the top lane. Shy isn't playing right now because Shy isn't playing. Yeah, just completely annihilated them in that final team fight. So just let that sink in for a second. Invictus Gaming, this super team, the team that we're definitely saying is the underdog right here, demolished RNG in game 1.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to sink in. I think the analysts are about to slap us with it.
That's fair. We did kind of fire back at that. So now it's your turn. Back over to the analyst desk.
We got Raz here, myself, we got PP on the analysis. I don't know who that person is on my far left.
He's not an analyst.
We have PP, we have Raz, we have myself. It's IG, right? It's all about IG, right? It has to be. They're just the best team right now, Clement. Why do you think
that was one outplay. That was one outplay. If
Outplay.
Uzi clicked on his Quicksilver Mercurial Scimitar instead of ulting right there, I think the game goes longer and RNG win the game.
I do you one better. What if, just hear me out here.
Okay.
What if Karsa hits damn.
All right, I will give you that. Karsa was smiling after that game because he was thinking to himself, I guess I get Smite now.
But like ultimately, this game proves our point going into this set, where both teams are just teams are going towards their identity. RNG wanted to be the team that's surrounded around their AD carry this time around, using the gold funneling to make it so he has a faster spike. Definitely faster if you're hitting 200 or 300 at the 20-minute mark. That's excellent, right? So Uzi's happy because their ultimate objective of double support with their AD carry coming through. But Invictus Gaming said, well, the game is already over because essentially they had full control of the map with the full lane dominance that they had. Everything was working well in Invictus Gaming's court in the early portion of the game, and it was all about not throwing it away when it came to the Baron rush. Ultimately, it was just such an elongated Baron setup because they couldn't rush it. That was the biggest focus of it because they don't have a primary AD carry on their team, so rushing it would give RNG time to move towards the Baron. So they were just waiting, biding their time, looking for a bait until they got the chance.
The problem is, it's Uzi that's picking up Smite here. So he wasn't anywhere near the Baron whenever they got close to trying to take it. Every time Invictus game moved towards the pit, Uzi needed to be nearby and not farming. And normally, if you're a jungler, you can just sit there and be like, well, I could just stay right here with my Smite button, and you can no longer approach Baron.
See, the thing is, I agree with you. They need Xayah there, but it was only just a team fight. Because they have the ability to team fight at that point of the game with the Xayah hitting 3 items. But you're not going to have a Xayah flash into the Baron. But the difference between a jungler looking for a Smite battle is that they're a little bit healthier to do that. So it's easier to play the Baron game. But I agree, they needed Xayah to be there. And in the replay that we're going to be showing, it's just that she was back at base. Invictus Gaming caught RNG without their AD carry in the area, so RNG just had to concede it completely.
Let me just say this. You play that same ban pick 10 times in a row, I think RNG actually comes out more times than they lose, and that is a better composition. Well, if you look at this, yes, they caught RNG out. The play is over. Once Xayah went back to hub base, the play is effectively over. So I want to talk about why this composition is good.
Okay, go for it.
All right, this is the reason why you run ADCs in the jungle primary position right now, because you can funnel gold much easier, much faster, and they don't face the kill threat that they do in terms of the bot lane. I would say they ran a double carry with a double support, and that is going to be the optimal meta going forward. I actually do believe that it will be the case.
Which makes sense, but we've seen this being run most frequently with junglers like Graves or Master Yi or even Kai'Sa in the jungle. But the times where we've seen champions like now Xayah as well as Shyvana, two champions that don't have the opportunity to create fights for themselves, like in this match, we don't actually see RNG forcing anything. They get the gold, but the fight still has to be IG going to them, and they lock down Uzi.
Now, there's a reason RNG, this is not the first time we've seen them play to such a late degree in the game. In fact, we've seen Xiao go into the bot lane before this, and they are comfortable with playing this super late game. That's the reason they're sitting at over 34 minutes in terms of game time. I do agree, however, that objective things are hard to control in this composition.
In talking about what's optimal, what we saw was two of the best teams in the world play what was their style, essentially. And Invictus Gaming, remember, their composition relied on the Camille Galio. So I thought that it came down to execution. I'm never going to call RNG's composition optimal just because they needed to be able to buy their time for a 3-item Uzi. And even then, with Invictus Gaming already reigning control of the full top side of the map, RNG had to be playing risky to get control around it. Of course, this replay that we're going to be showing is what Invictus Gaming's ultimate identity in their composition wants to achieve. Get right into the back line, be able to blow Uzi up, and he wasn't going to be able to survive.
Yeah, this is a great play right here. Like, two things that Ning really noticed is that first, of course, he doesn't have the ultimate anymore, and Ming was not there. Because if Ming was there, you could knock the Hextech ultimatum away, and that would allow Uzi to escape. I do give IG credit on winning that fight. I hard disagree that this is a strategy you're going to see go away at any time soon. I actually am very certain that this type of strategy, whether you have double carries and double supports into gold funneling, is going to be the optimal way forward. And if you look at the stats, it's pretty clear. 23 minutes, Uzi is already level 16. That's 3 minutes ahead of everyone else on the map. 25 minutes, he hits 400 CS. And if you take that level lead and you take that gold lead, he's effectively sitting on 7k gold lead on himself alone against any single carry right there. It doesn't matter if you have less damage dealers if you had that sort of a lead. So I think we're going to see a lot more of this coming down the line.
Yeah, and we've already have it like globally. Like one of the best teams that's been showcasing it is G2. Jankos is definitely not happy being the Braum main suddenly.
I don't think
so. It's definitely a style that we've been seeing, and it's incredible in the AD carry position because it's not safe on the bottom side of the map.
It is new, but it's new for RNG especially. Like, this is one of the first time we've seen them run gold funneling composition, and IG have not run it just yet. So we'll have to see if they adapt in that strategy or go back to what they used to. Ning was also able to pick up MVP off the back of that match. He picked up the Camille. He had the game-winning play. Good presence in the jungle as well for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, and a lot of the vision control was handled because of him and because of the support at the bottom side as well. I really like the fact that Invictus Gaming reined in the control and they utilized the pick potential that they had to really stop RNG in their tracks.
I think this showcases the biggest weakness of like gold funneling for an ADC. It means that you don't have any ganks on the map at all whatsoever. And Ning was able to run through the bot lane quite heavily. This is the reason that Xiaohu fell down so many times. It was always a 3v2 in the bot lane, and props to him. He really did take hold of that big weakness in that composition, and he made it work.
He did make it work. RNG were not able to make the gold funneling strategy work, but they are the MSI champions. They were the LPL Spring champions. They definitely will have something up their sleeve for game number 2, and hopefully send us to game 3. We're going to go into a very quick break. Back with the second match of this set in just a bit.
这个夏天 ，IG 有太多东西需要证明，请大家拭目以待。